Hi guys, I wanted to take a quick moment to explain how the fishbowl discussion is going to work on Monday. Sorry, on Tuesday. So first and foremost, make sure that you are at school. If you're in-person learning, you should be ready to participate in this. Also, if you're at home, you need to be ready to participate in the fishbowl discussion in both components. So even in either situation, make sure that you're ready for it. Those of you who are at home, I'll either have my computer or another classmate's computer set up so that someone who's at home at all times can be participating in the fishbowl discussion portion of it. So let me explain kind of what you're going to be doing for this. First and foremost, you're going to need to find a third source and also read the two sources that I gave you. So the first two sources are just kind of general scientific articles that look at the different ideas relating to CRISPR and give you kind of some background knowledge on it. There's other videos that I've attached into the links as well. So if you want more information, it's on this page. We watched one of the videos in class. You had the other one for something that you were supposed to work on for an ed puzzle. Remember, that is due on Tuesday as well. The ed puzzle will give you some other background information. But there's a couple other useful videos on there too if you want to check those out. So you have to read these two articles that are linked here. Find a third one of your choosing. I do have some science magazine articles in my classroom, as well as Mr. Pendleton has some others. And so feel free to stop by if you want to check through those for some current literature. Otherwise, you can always do some Google Scholar searches for a topic that maybe you find interesting. Maybe if you have a disease that you think you're curious whether or not they're trying to find a way to cure that disease, or whether or not you found something that has been attempted but maybe didn't work out. Whatever it might be, feel free to come in with any of those options. So this is your first portion. You need to, before class on Tuesday, submit your article, the third source that you find. Submit it to this link. You can either submit a PDF of it or actually submit a link to it, whichever works. Also, there's some discussion rules and discussion rubric that I'll get into for the next part. Fourth option, if you decide you want to get, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to give any extra credit for this, but I think it would lead to some interesting discussion as well. There are obviously a lot of good ethical and spiritual and religious and societal and any number of other types of sources of information out there. Feel free to incorporate one of those. We're going to try and stay as much as we can in the science realm, but we'll dip into this as well during the discussion, I'm sure. So feel free to bring one of those in as kind of an additional source, but you need to find a third source that is science-based. Step two is the actual discussion itself. So when you come to class on Tuesday, be ready to get going really quickly because we want to make sure we have enough time for the full discussion. The rubric that I'm going to grade you on, it's linked here so you can kind of check this out. So there's going to be an inner circle for the fishbowl and an outer circle. The inner circle is going to have anywhere between 5 and 6 or 7 of you guys in the middle, probably closer to 5. And then you will be partnered up with 1 or 2 other people in the class. Some might be on Zoom, some might be in the fishbowl in person. And you're going to be if you're not currently in the discussion in the center of the classroom, you will be looking at the other person or people who you're partnered with and trying to give them critical feedback on their discussion, as well as thinking about counterpoints to what people say. Or obviously you can also agree with things that people say. So there's some space here for you to copy down any notes or suggestions that you have or things that you want to remember to bring up whenever you get into the center of the circle. The reason for that is when you do get to the center of the circle, you won't be able to bring your notes with you. So try and be pretty well versed on this before you come into class because once again, you'll be able to look at the notes when you're on the side or in the periphery, but you'll not be able to have those as a part of your things that you bring into the circle with you. When you are a fish in the inner circle, you're going to be having your partners who are sitting around the edge grading you on the following things. Presentation. So are you using eye contact with the people in the group? Are you obviously speaking up, speaking clearly, not mumbling? You're going to also be judged based on, are you making logical arguments? Have you thought these things through in a way that makes sense? Are you not using ad hominem attacks, which I'll mention more here in a second? Any number of other logical fallacies that you guys may be more familiar with other classes. You'll also be tested on or given a grade by your classmates on your knowledge of the subject, how much you seemingly prepared, and any other organization details. Also, finally, are you supporting your ideas and your arguments with evidence? So make sure that you, once again, come in with some specific things that you want to mention on that. And the goal with all this, guys, is to become better at discussing science and better at reading through and understanding what's going on and then talking about it. So hopefully your classmates will be giving you some good constructive criticism for that. Scores will be totaled up, and your scores in combination with my score that I give you will be averaged together. I haven't decided if I'm going to make it out of 20 points yet or 25 points or 30, but one way or another, I'm going to average them together and give you a score out of your classmates and mine combined. If you want a quick review on the back side of this sheet, for those of you who are in class, I'll give you a physical paper copy of this. But this is just a quick run through of the different types of logical fallacies. Some of the most common ones are red herrings, throwing out an idea that is that's a specific type of, I guess it's a specific thing that doesn't necessarily relate to the overall examples that there are in a situation. In other words, it's kind of an anomaly. There's any number of these other arguments that you'll see pop up pretty often in any discussion on topics. Moral equivalence between situations is one that we might see pop up here and there. In other words, trying to equate two situations that may not actually be the same. Straw man, so making sure that your arguments are making sure that they're actually an argument that can hold up to whatever the actual topic is at hand. So any number of other examples, ad hominem attacks, obviously we're not going to get into those where hopefully you are not attacking the person itself. The person himself. So otherwise, if you have any other questions on this, feel free to send me an email or you can talk to me about it on Monday. I will have these science magazines if you want to stop by and check out and see if you can find your article there. Once again, I suggest that for your third article, don't pay money for it because these can get pretty expensive. So try and find one that you can find for free on the internet or come and talk to me. If you have any questions, come on by. Thanks. Looking forward to it, guys.